doing her shopping. Bhuti, uchairperson akazongena?
Uzangena ngoku.
Bemele angene and then aphinde anantse ke ngoku. Okay. Awuzongena? No, no, it's fine ke. Sure. Thanks, Bhuti.
Lindiwe. Lindiwe. Yoli.
Yebo, ma.
Send the chairperson the link.
She doesn't have a link.
She says she doesn't.
All right, mama.
It was on email.
Sorry, ma.
Link was on email.
Yes, I'm gonna send it to the group as well.
Yeah, send to the group because I don't know what she's looking for.
Okay.
Good morning, honorable members.
Morning,
Good
Chair.
morning. Morning. I'm sorry, man. I apologize for joining late because I've got a challenge where I am. I'm sorry for that. I've been looking for the link, but I couldn't get it. Now I have managed to get the link. Thank you very much, Yoli, for showing me and also send me the link. Now the meeting is officially opened, honorable members, and I would like to request you to buy where you are.
Recording in
Yes.
progress.
Yes, honorable members. And then after that, I just want to, after we have bow our head where we are, to open up officially the meeting. Let's bow for a moment. Thank you very much, honorable members. I will first also apologize for the noise that is behind me. I have connected through the phone because I'm experiencing a problem where I am. And I would like to apologize that I won't be able to continue with the meeting out of this noise that is taking place. I will also request Honorable Stock to continue with the meeting. Otherwise, I wanted to greet everyone during these 16 days of activism month, which we know that it always takes 365 days, and we commemorate all those days during that time. Let's soldier on, honorable members, and say, down with the abuse of the women, down with the abuse of the children, and so that we can soldier on. We've been doing the awareness campaigns all the years, but it seems as if it doesn't augur well to other person or people that are abusing. We are saying stop with the abuse of children, stop with the abuse of women throughout the year. And we mustn't commemorate only 1 month or from the day of the 25th to the 10th. Let's not do that. Let's always make our communities to be aware of that. Thank you ever so much. The meeting is officially opened. Can we request Lindy to flight the meeting? And then I will move over to Honorable Stock just to avoid the noise that is taking place because I can't control it. Thank you, honorable members. Honorable Stock, are you around?
Yes, I'm around, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, my whip. I'll give over to you the meeting. Honorable Stock is going to continue with the meeting, but first and foremost, let's check with Lindy, who's present and who's not present, and get into the apologies so as to flight the agenda and know that we do have one item on the agenda. Okay, thank you very much, honorable members. Lindy, over to you, and Honorable Stock will take over. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson and members and officials in attendance. Chair, I wish to confirm the following members in the meeting. Today is the 29th of November 2023. The following members of Parliament are in attendance. I have Member Mvana, we have Member Manganye, we have Member Masango, we have Member Van der Merwe, we have Member Mhlongo, we have Member Stock, we have Member Mare, we have Member Peterson, we have Member, and then we have Member Iris. We have our standing apology from Member Abrahams, who's on maternity leave. Those are the confirmation of members in attendance, as well as an apology from Member Abrahams. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Lindy, for the introduction, the roll call and the apology of members. At least we've got an idea now who's in the meeting and then who's actually apologized. Thank you very much. I would also like to appreciate the opportunity given to me by Honorable Mvana to hold the fort on her behalf while she's still experiencing some problems where she is currently. And then the chairperson have already opened the meeting. She has done the opening remarks. We appreciate. Now, in terms of the agenda before us, we are dealing with the adoption of the agenda. Can we get a mover and then seconder for the adoption of the agenda in order for us to be able to proceed? Over to you, honorable members. Can we note hands?
Chairperson.
Sorry, Chairperson.
Oh, okay. Over to you, Mayor van der Merwe, Liz.
Acting Chairperson, good morning to you, Honorable Stock. I wanted to move for the adoption of the agenda.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable van der Merwe moves for the adoption of the agenda. Can we get the seconder?
Chairperson.
Honorable Paulnita Marais, over to you, ma'am.
Yes, good morning, Chairperson. My name was not mentioned of people that is present. So I'm just indicating I'm here. You must know I'm here because Letty didn't say my name. So maybe I didn't hear properly, but I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Paulnita Marais. Your attendance is noted, and I'm sure Lindiwe will be able to update the attendance register. Thank you so much. Honorable members, can we get a seconder?
I'm seconding, Chairperson.
Oh, thank you very much, Honorable Manganye. Honorable members, the agenda is duly adopted, and then it's before us, it's been flighted before us. Now we are moving to the next item, which is the consideration and adoption of the motion of desirability on the Children's Amendment Bill, B19, what. As we have already started with the process, so today we are considering the motion of desirability. Thank you very much. Let me hand over to the committee secretary, Melindiwe Ntsabo, just to take us through in terms of the procedure and how we are going to table the motion and all of that. So I think I must hand over to the committee secretary, Melindiwe Ntsabo, over to you.
Thank you very much, Acting Chair. I wish to confirm that Member Marais, I've mentioned your name, maybe you didn't hear. You were just after Mr. Stock, so I've recorded your attendance. Chair, it's safe to say that this is the last process of the bill after we've considered the presentation from the sponsor. We got a presentation from the implementer, which is the executive, to check whether the bill is implementable. So now is for the committee to consider and adopt a motion of desirability, whether it may proceed with the bill or not. So we are at that stage now. There is a report drafted in consultation with the legal advisor, Daksha. So I will table the report before you members for your consideration and adoption. So can I flag the report, Chair?
Yes, please do so, ma'am. Thank you.
This is the draft report of the Portfolio Committee on Social Development on the Children's Amendment Bill, which is the Private Members Bill 19 of 2023. The first paragraph is to provide a background. The Portfolio
see the report, Linda.
I see.
We can't see it.
Is it?
Oh, okay. Sorry. Please,
Chair.
Lindy.
Okay.
Sorry, Sango, sorry. Please flight it, Lindy. Yes, we can see it.
Oh, sorry. Can you see it now?
Yeah, no, it's there. We can see it now. Thanks.
Okay. Oh, sorry. This is a draft report for the committee to consider and adopt in today's meeting, dated 29 November 2023. The first paragraph is to provide the procedure from the introduction up to the referral. The Portfolio Committee on Social Development, referred as the committee, having considered the Children's Amendment Bill, B19 2023, in the National Assembly. The bill has been tagged as Section 76, referred to it and classified by the Joint Tagging Mechanism as Section 76. We wish to report as follows. The Children's Amendment Bill, B19, is a private members bill, was tabled and referred to the Parliament, to the Portfolio Committee on Social Development on the 13th of July, 2023. Our first engagement was on the 15th of November, 2023. We invited the sponsor, Member Masango, to brief the committee on the bill. I wish to also provide what does this bill seek to achieve. The bill seeks to amend the Children's Act 2005, which is Act 38 of 2005, so as to insert a new definition for a new type of care to provide that micro-partial care is provided when a person takes care of 6 or less children on behalf of their parents, guardians, and caregiver during specific hours of the day or night, or for a temporary period by agreement, to regulate micro-partial care, to provide for matters relating to micro-partial care and micro-partial care facilities, to provide for further exclusion from what partial care entails, and lastly, to provide for matters connected therewith. Another engagement, members, was on the 15th of November, 2023. The committee also received a presentation from the Department of Social Development, who provided their views and responses pertaining to the proposed bill. Following this presentation, the committee held a further meeting on the 22nd November 2023, where it was briefed by the Department of Social Development on the costing of the bills. These are the two engagements that the department followed so as to make a decision whether to proceed or not. This is part of the consultation process the committee embarked on. Having deliberated on the briefings and the presentation received, the committee adopted a motion that the proposed legislation is not desirable at this stage due to the following reasons. Reason number one, the aspect of the extending partial care for 6 or less children is included in Clause 34 of the Children's Amendment Bill, B-18-2020, which is the bill that was introduced by the executive, which forms part of all the remaining clauses that the bill has deferred to the 7th Parliament to deal with. This aspect can be dealt with as part of a more comprehensive bill. The second reason, the committee will also not have sufficient time to process the bill, as it is in the process of considering the Older Persons Amendment, and Parliament is left with only 2 weeks before it adjourns. In 2024, Parliament will also go on recess early for the general elections. The third reason, the Department of Social Development, during its engagement with the committee, may face implementation challenges due to financial and human resource constraints, namely a lack of funding to employ social workers to conduct the registration and inspection of the proposed micro-partial care facilities, as well as the general implementation of the bill. While the committee, however, supported the contents of the bill as it seeks to further strengthen protection of children, the committee is of the opinion that it should not proceed with the proposed legislation due to the above-mentioned reasons. Members and the acting chair, this is the report on the motion of desirability on the private members' bill on Children's Amendment Bill for your consideration and adoption. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Melindiwe Ntsabo, for presentation on the report on the motion of desirability. Also, I think the report is very clear. It outlines the process where we started, and then also we invited the department to come and respond. We considered all the issues as a portfolio committee. So now, here's the report, honorable members, before us for consideration. I will now open the floor for members to come in to make comments, make inputs, and then we consider the way forward with regard to the proposal for the adoption of this report as is, and so forth. I note the hand of Honorable Masango, and I think it makes sense that we give her first, because since she's the one that actually submitted the private members bill. Before we give to other honorable members, but in the meantime, we can note the hands. Let's hand over to Honorable Masango. Over to you, Member Masango.
Thank you, Acting Chair, and thank you to the Committee Secretary for the presentation of the report. The report reflects very accurately the discussions that ensued in the two meetings that are referred to above. And Acting Chair, I just need to, now that everything has been put nicely in the report, and the issues are that led to the committee declaring the bill undesirable. That now that they have been put nicely into points that we are considering now, I just wish to declare or to put forward to the committee my concern that we are, as this committee is saying or is implying, that the protection of children will have to be delayed because of procedures and because of cost challenges, budget challenges, and so on and so forth. That means that the children's protection in facilities that are looking after 6 children or less is going to be delayed because of the bill that I believe will be a committee bill, but the bill that we all know does not exist because we rejected, although we didn't know that we were rejecting the implications of rejecting all those 200 and something clauses. And so we are not going to be able to, that bill is going to be started from scratch, if I understand it, and the legal people among us might have to give us clarity on that. And also, we are not separating the legislative issues from executive issues. In that we are saying, as legislators, we can't do our work because we are looking at what might happen when the bill is implemented. That is delaying the protection of children in one sense, and it makes us to want to get involved in another sphere of government. That is all I have to say, Acting Chair, in saying that I'm quite actually sad that the committee is having to delay the protection of children in this country, where we know what is going on with children in facilities and the deplorable conditions that they are looked after in, and so on and so forth. But Acting Chair, that is all I have to say. Thank you so much for indulging me.
Thank you very much, Honorable Masango. And then once again, Honorable Masango, on behalf of the Portfolio Committee, and I think this is an issue that we have, with no exception, expressed gratitude and also a word of appreciation towards you as one of our members of the Portfolio Committee, having raised and tabled this very important bill before the committee. And then by so saying, I would also like to express a word of gratitude to you once again. And I know this is a view that has been expressed by almost all of us in the Portfolio Committee. And the reason why we're doing that is because we're of the view that the issues, the contents of the private members bill that we have actually put and tabled before the committee, we all agreed with the contents. In a nutshell, what we're actually saying is that we are not of the view that we are delaying the protection of the rights of children. What we have been emphasizing in the Portfolio Committee is that we are actually of the view, and we all agree as members of the Portfolio Committee, that the rights of children it's of paramount importance that they need to be protected. And I think I just wanted to emphasize that point. And then secondly, I think also in the draft report before us, it's adequate. It adequately covers the issues in terms of the separation of powers. We only invited the department to come and make their responses based on the bill tabled before the portfolio committee, because the department is the one, once we have processed the private members' bill as members of the committee, and then the department is actually the implementers of that particular legislation. So it was important for us to invite them to come here. But it doesn't mean that the department is actually dictating to us what needs to happen about the rights of children, which legislation must be put before the committee, which legislation must be prioritized. The responses that they've provided with regard to the financial position of the department and the process that it will actually take to put together or to process this bill, what was as per the request from the portfolio committee for them to come and respond. So I just wanted to clarify those issues, but also lastly, again, I think it's important to thank you for having brought these particular issues. But the issues that have been contained in the Children's Amendment Bill, all the outstanding clauses, they will be considered through a committee bill as we move forward. They will not be thrown into the dustbin, and then it doesn't mean the rights of children are actually not being prioritized. Thank you so much. I've noted the hand of Honorable Hlongo, and then also followed by Honorable Mangai. Over to you, honorable members.
Can I please settle in? I'm at the airport. Can we go to Honorable Mangai? That's why I listen for now.
Oh, okay. No, thank you very much, Honorable Hlongo. Can we take the hand of Honorable Manganye?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chair. I must also echo the words that you have said about our own member, one of our own that have in this sixth administration did forward the private members' private bill. And then I also think that she did do what was good. But I wanted to say, honorable members, I think we discussed this deeply when we were dealing with the children's bill. The words reject, it was according to the legal perspective, it was not saying reject, because it's saying we park, because there is no park illegal. We use this term rejecting. But what I want to say, we at the committee, I still remember we said we can't proceed with this bill because time limited, and then also that we can't single that laws on. We have to take all of them that we have said we are rejecting. And then we did say we are saying we are referring it back to the 7th administration based on what we said. Even last time, I didn't dwell much to this one of the money from the department, because the department was just giving us what they said. We didn't talk much about we did mention, but we didn't conclude about that the department doesn't have money, because it's the department and the treasury that will tell. So this, I feel that we must refer it back based on what we said, and then we leave it to be done. I don't think this is, because we are doing much for the children, even if we are still struggling there and there, but we are doing a lot for the children. The government is caring more, or this department is caring more about the children. We need to bear in mind that we can take one and leave the others hanging. Because of the older person's bill, we did dwell much, and then we need to finish one. We can't keep on chewing and left without finishing chewing. So my humble request is that let's defer it to the next 7th administration based on the issue that we have already dealt with. And then I don't think that we, all of those who have left, we said reject. They are so valuable to the children's. We have to take it to the 7th administration so that they must deal with it thoroughly, as they will be having more time. So ours is to just myself. I don't think we can pass this and say this is this desirability. What you call? I think I'm proposing that we must reject it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mama Jane. I think, honorable members, I would, just in terms of procedure of the meeting, the report has been tabled before us. It clearly highlights the reasons of the portfolio committee why we're of the view we are not accepting or agreeing with the motion of desirability. So the report is before us. So I would actually implore or maybe request honorable members to come in, and then we get the mover and then the seconder for the adoption of the report. Can I give over to Honorable Hlongo, and then we take it from there. Over to you, Honorable Hlongo.
Thank you very much, Acting Chair. I think, Acting Chair, the report details all the reasons, and in the past 2 meetings, we've stated that this would be a repetition of what is contained in the committee bill, Honorable Whip. So I think I'd move that we adopt this report as it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Hlongo has actually moved for the adoption of the report. I've noted the hand of Honorable Aris. Over to you, Honorable Aris.
Yes, good morning. Thank you very much, Chairperson. No, it is just that as the Honorable, I nearly say Majay, as the Honorable Masango was saying, we are in agreement with the report, and as we have also raised our concern in previous meetings, we don't say that it's not a good thing, but considering the time and financial implications, we are in agreement that this one must rather stand over to the 7th Parliament. That's all I want to put on the record from our side.
Thank you very much, Honorable Aris. I note the hand of Honorable Paulnita Marie. Honorable members, just as a reminder, there is a proposal that has been put for the adoption of the report. So I would actually request that when you come in and then you also comment whether you agree or you don't agree, but there's a proposal put before the committee. So we'll actually need a seconder for the adoption of the report. Over to you, Honorable Paulnita, and then followed by Honorable Majane Manganyi.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. I don't want to repeat myself, but I also want to agree with the previous speakers that we should leave it for the 7th Parliament, because seriously, we're not going to have time. Parliament is closing next week, so I don't know how we're going to do this. So I also don't have a problem with the Children's Amendment Bill, but I think we should leave it for the next. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Marie. Can we now hand over to Honorable Manganyi? Mema Jane.
Thank you very much, Chair. I must appreciate all the comment from the members that have commented, including Honorable Sango. I'm seconding what Honorable Hlongo was saying. I'm seconding the mover.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Majane. Honorable members, that's where we are. The proposal for the adoption of the report as is was tabled by Honorable Hlongo, and then it has been supported by Honorable Majane Mangai. And I also just need to indicate that honorable members also came in and also agreed that whilst we prioritize the rights of children, whilst the committee is pro children's rights and the protection of the vulnerable of our ordinary people, and then based on the time constraints and the reasons raised before us, it's important that we actually defer it to the next parliament. So the report has been duly adopted as is, honorable members. Let me hand over now to Lindiwe just to indicate what will be the next item on the agenda before we wrap up our meeting. Over to you, Lindy. What's the next item on the agenda?
Thank you very much, Chair. The next item is the consideration of the committee report on the international study tour to Canada. Yoli will take the committee through that report, Chair, and then afterwards 2 sets of minutes.
Okay. No, thank you very much, Lindiwe. Honorable members, the study tour on Canada report is here, and I've noted that it has been circulated to us. So I think honorable members had the opportunity also during their own time, maybe just to peruse the report and all of that. So it's important. I just need to get a sense from the honorable members, what approach are we supposed to follow? Are we going straight, or we zooming straight into the recommendations? Or we want the content advisor to go word by word, page by page of the report? Maybe if we can just get a sense of how we want it to be done. Can we get maybe a proposal from the meeting? Honorable members.
Chairperson, can I propose that the content advisor take us through the report?
Okay. No, thank you so much. Okay, Honorable Aris wants the content advisor to take us through the entire report. Okay, let me hand over to to the content advisor, Yoli, so to take us through the report. Over to you, Yoli. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, Acting Chair and members, and to my colleagues. Just to apologize, Chair, I've tried to switch on my video, but it's just blank like now. I'm not sure what's going on. I'm using a new laptop. So maybe there's some setting issues that needs to be corrected. So I'm just going to keep it then off, Chair. Acting Chair, just to say, in terms of a proposal, because the report is 47 pages, so I prepared like a summary in a presentation format that just focused on the key aspects that came out from each engagement that we had in Canada. So I'm hoping maybe it will at least, especially for the members who didn't go on the study tour, maybe give them some kind of idea what are the key issues that emanated, especially those are the ones that influenced the lessons learned and the recommendations that I proposed at the end of the report. So, Chair, I'm just going to now go through the presentation and then just highlight all the details are in the report, but to go through it is quite long because it's like 47 pages, Chair. So having said that, I need to do this first. Okay. Can the members see it now clearly? Is it fine?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, Chair. All right, Chair. I'm just not going to go much. Can I proceed?
No, you can proceed, Yoli. Thanks.
Okay, I think, Chair. We had identified some objectives of the study tour, and then the presentation look at the highlights, like I just said in my remarks, the lessons learned, but those are combined with the recommendations. Basically, the objectives of the study tour was for the committee to meet with this parliamentary counterpart to learn from the oversight work how they hold the executive accountable in implementing laws, policies, programs, and services. But just to say now, Chair, because we went during the time of recess in Canada, we managed at least to meet with one committee chair, which I've reported in my report, and we couldn't meet with other counterparts because they were on recess. And then we had an objective. We meet with central authorities that are relevant to our department or the sector, and to learn from their legislative provisions and programs and policies with regard to the protection of the rights of older people. And also to meet with government agencies that deliver advisory services to the state on older persons, and also to conduct some oversight visits to the programs or organizations or projects that we were able to visit there. And just to say, these are the objectives, and the concept paper that was detailed, that was forwarded to the Office of the Embassy, and they coordinated the program for us based on what I developed as a concept paper. So all the people that we engaged in, the stakeholders and the agencies or site visits that we conducted were identified from that end. Then on our first engagement, acting chair, we had a meet and greet meeting session with the SA High Commissioner, Mr. Reyes Sheikh, in the province of Ottawa, or they pronounce it as Ottawa, in terms of the accent that side, but we use our own accent as Ottawa. And I think what came out from his presentation was that Canada is a federal government, and that means the provinces are self-governing. And so they have authority to decide how they spend money, how they make policies and laws. And an example was made of Quebec, which is the province that was identified that site that we should visit based on what I'm going to present on programs I have in that province. And I've just alluded that the provinces have distinct separation of powers, so they then can make decisions when it comes to issues of social development, health, education, and other provincial competences. And also, he highlighted the fact that Canada has a high population of older persons, and this has resulted in the government having a fund, a pension fund, which is the biggest in the world, which is about $1.3 US. And the fund is strictly monitored and managed. So Canada is investing quite a lot on the protection of older persons. He also highlighted the fact that Canada is experiencing an aging population, and that has resulted in it having an aggressive policy in terms of attracting immigrants into the country because of a shortage of labor. And round about every year, it attracts about 450,000 immigrants into the country. And he then mentioned that the population projections are projecting that by year 2050, the Canadian population will be brown-skinned. He even made an example of his own family because he's married to a Canadian woman. So their children now are a bit on the brown-toned skin. So that's a trend that is being projected because of this aggressive importing of immigrants into the country. And when it comes to the security, he mentioned that generally Canadians have a high level of security and safety. And when it comes to the drug, the approach into drug is more liberal, meaning it is not really criminalized to deal with drugs, but it is left to the community initiatives, organizations to assist those who are using drugs. I'm using the word carefully using because it is not a criminalized, what can I say, activity, maybe like of a better word. But there was something that came out that said, being so, there's a high level of drug abuse or drug use and that results to a high level of gender-based violence among the indigenous people. So it sounded, or it gives an impression that having this approach, has some detrimental effect to the indigenous population who are more in the northern parts of Canada. Then from there, acting chair, we met with the ministry, government ministry or federal government ministry that is called Canada Employment and Social Development. And this is a government department that has a staff complement of about 2,500, and that's it at the federal stage, or a government, or we may say at a national level in our own language. And it works closely with NPOs that advance or deliver services on older persons. And we then can say this is the dedicated ministry for older persons. And just when I'm there, Chair, you may see in the presentations that the terminology here is a bit different because they use senior citizens and we use older persons. And this came out, if you recall, in our provinces where older people, older persons, they are saying they're more comfortable with the term senior citizens than older persons. But we can discuss that in detail when we consider the report on public hearings. But I just thought if you see in this presentation, I will have senior citizens instead of older persons. But because I'm used to older persons, I may refer to them as older persons. But they in Canada, they were referred as senior citizens. So I thought I should just explain that, Chair. Okay. Because of the aging population and the high life expectancy in the country, then the government has a social security system that is called Canada's Retirement Income System. And this income system, Chair, the objectives or the purpose of it are to provide adequate income replacement in retirement and achieve financial sustainability and economic efficiency. It has three pillars. One pillar is the old age security system, which is tax financed, which in our case will be our social assistance program, our grants. And then in pillar 2, it has the Canada pension plan. That one is about is mandatory contributions that everyone who's employed has to contribute towards their retirement and disability and death benefits. There is a workplace pension plans. These are your private contributions that employees, they do via their employment. And Canada Pension Plan, the private one, it provides partial earnings replacement in the event of retirement, disability, or death of a contributor. And it is designed to replace up to 25% of lifetime average wage. And I highlighted the last point in red because this is the approach that South Africa or the reforms on social security aim to achieve, that we also have a 3-tier system in the country. Right now, we have the social assistance programs, which is tier 1. We have the private contributions, but we don't have per se the mandatory ones. So the white paper on the proposed white paper is not yet been signed. Still under drafting. Comprehensive social security, then it aims to introduce a similar system in South Africa. And the contribution towards the Canada Pension Fund, the CPP, are collected by Canada Revenue Agency, which is equivalent to SARS on our side. And the benefits are administered by the Employment and Social Development Canada, which is now the ministry I reported on earlier. And statistics that were given was like roughly 14.4 million workers contribute annually. And in 2021, 2022, the contributions total to 64.6 billion. They use the US dollars here, Chairperson. And what is then to take note is that the next point, all employed and self-employed workers with sufficient earnings make contributions. So even those who are self-employed, they make contribution towards this pension fund. And the contributions start from the age of 18 and it ends when the contributor starts collecting their retirement pension or reaches ages of 80 or dies. Then within the ministry, we were then given different forums and programs that are in place that advance the needs and the protection of older persons. So one of them is what it was called senior forums. And these forums are at all the levels of government, the federal, the provincial, the territorial, which are places more in the north of Canada, which are more occupied by the indigenous population of Canada. So these forums, Chair, they are comprised of ministers responsible for seniors from 14 jurisdictions. And then they meet to get advice on senior issues. Either they meet via Zoom or in person. As ministers in this forum, they identify priorities for future work of the forum and approve deliverables implemented to address these priorities. And these forums are co-chaired between the federal co-chair and other spheres, which is the provincial, territorial spheres of the, I don't know if I should call it spheres, but levels of government there. And they rotate on every 18 to 24 months. And what is most important is that all the ministers then who are part of these forums, they hold multiple portfolios, health, housing, disability, accessibility, community, and social services. So you have all these ministers in this forum that are in portfolios that deliver services to older persons or senior citizens in their case. And then within this forum, then a survey was conducted across Canada to understand and address the negative impact of ageism because of this high population that is aging in Canada. And a report was drafted based on the outcomes of the survey, which was called What We Had Report. This report identified policy options to support seniors, organizations, researchers, and all levels of government to consider how they may address ageism. Then there were 5 priorities that were identified. One being the role of technology to enhance aging in place. It aims to explore policies that encourage the use of technologies available to seniors, caregivers, and supporting organizations, and identify how they can be used to facilitate aging in community, including in remote and rural communities. And I think members will agree with me, it was one of the points that were raised by older people that they need to be trained on how to use technology, because now they have to withdraw their monies from the ATM, they have to use their cell phones to do banking and other things that they can use in terms of technology. So there's that need to train older people on how to use technology. And then the second priority was about the abuse, senior abuse. In our case, we can say older persons abuse during pandemic and beyond. And this priority aims to inform the federal, provincial, and territorial programming and policies that address senior abuse, safety, and security by taking lessons learned from the pandemic and considering options to apply them going forward. Yet again, another survey found that 8.2% of community-dwelling Canadians aged 55 or over had experienced abuse in the form of physical, psychological, sexual, or financial, or neglect in the previous year. Excuse me. Then the third priority is on supportive housing for a diverse seniors population. This one aims to help seniors to stay in their homes for as long as possible so that they can age in place, and ultimately to develop innovative housing models to support diverse population of seniors to age in their home in communities. Again, this was raised during our public hearings where other persons, they're saying with the future housing delivery, the houses for older persons must be remodeled so that they can meet their needs, because some of them are using wheelchairs and maybe they have some one-way or one form of disability or the other. So these priorities also speak to that, which came out from our public hearings as well. Then, Chair, there are two programs that were presented to us. One is New Horizon for Senior Program, and the other one was Age Well at Home Initiative. Just to say, Chair, all these programs were based on these national surveys that were conducted and the outcomes that came out from them. So this NHP, New Horizon for Senior Program, aims to enhance senior social inclusion, mobilize and support organizations led by seniors by funding their community-based projects. Funding recipients include NPOs, municipalities, indigenous organizations, coalitions, network or committees, public health and social service institutions, research and educational institutions. This program has an annual budget of $70 million, which when I was just doing my calculation, when I was preparing this presentation, was about 939 million rand a year. Through this program, the Ministry, the Employment and Social Development Canada in 2020 provided community-based organizations with funds to adapt their project to support seniors who were impacted by COVID-19 pandemic. Funding was also made to support projects that reduce isolation, improve the quality of life of seniors, and help them maintain a social support network. And members, I think, because we just to apply what we learned to our situation, and fortunately we just conducted public hearings on older persons, and yet the isolation of older persons, the exclusion and neglect was also attributed as one factor that end up putting older person vulnerable to abuse. So we have that challenge in South Africa as well. Then the Age Well at Home initiative. This initiative focuses on supporting senior saving organizations who mobilize volunteers to help seniors age in place. The organization provides caregivers who assist seniors with personal care, with housekeeping, transportation, meal preparation, access to healthcare, and delivery of medication. And also this came out very, very sharply from our public hearings, Chair. Then there is a council. It's basically an advisory body. It's called National Senior Council, NSC. It provides advice to government on matters related to health, well-being, and quality of life of seniors, including opportunities and challenges arising from a rapidly growing and increasingly diverse aging population. It considers the views of seniors, organizations, and groups that provide seniors programs and services, the experts, and other relevant stakeholders and interested parties. So this council, it provided ministers advice on issues including elder abuse, low income among seniors, volunteerism, positive and acting aging, labor force participation, intergenerational relations, social isolation, housing, financial crimes, and harms against seniors, the value of national senior strategy, and issues emerging from the pandemic. Then we had a meeting with the chair of House of Commons Standing Committee, Chairperson Robert Morrissey, and he basically gave us just an overview, of Canada, the population, and what the committee, the legislation that the committee has passed. He also just reiterated the fact that Canada, because of aging, it has adopted a very aggressive immigration policy so as to address the critical shortage of labor, for instance, in health and in construction. And the committee had recently passed two bills, Bill C-22, which introduced permanent disability program for age 18 to 65. That will be implemented parallel to the old age pension. And it also introduced a childcare program that allows a maximum of income of $10 per day for childcare, and this aims to attract young mothers back to the labor force. Then we had a meeting with the Justice Department of Canada. They presented that they have a federal victim strategy, and just they emphasize that their strategies, they're not necessarily or policies single out older persons, but everyone who's a victim of
Lindiwe. Thank you.
Thank you. That gave me time to drink water.
Lindiwe, please mute everybody. Thank you. Lindiwe.
The chair is the one that's supposed to be muted, chairperson.
Yeah, Lindiwe, please help us to mute.
Okay, hello. Who must I mute?
The chairperson, please mute Honorable Mvan.
Okay, I will do so. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Yoli. Proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I just have a sip of water. Okay. Okay, and then we had a meeting with the Department of Justice where they presented their federal victim strategy. And through the strategy, the department works in close collaboration with other federal institutions, as well as with victims advocates, provincial and territorial governments, victim services, law enforcement, and others involved in the criminal justice to implement the federal victim strategy. And it also has a fund, a victims fund. This fund provides funding to projects and activities that promote access to justice and victim assistance program. And Chair, it also introduced the Canadian Victim Bill of Rights, which protects the rights of seniors, particularly those residing in rural areas. Victims have the right to request testimonial services when testifying in court, and it is easier for courts to order testimonial services. These services are available to all the victims, including older persons. And Chair, our bill before us also has a proposal for such services for older persons in our courts. So we are in the right path. I know it's not moving. Next. Okay. No. Right. Then we had a meeting, Chair. We were now in another province in Quebec or Quebec. I'm not quite sure how this is pronounced because it's a French name, where we met with the Ministry of Social Development and Social Services. And we were given some statistics in terms of the population of the province, which it has 8.6 million inhabitants, which makes about 22.3% of the Canadian population. And more than 78% of the population is French-speaking, and 60% lives in Montreal and surrounding areas. The life expectancy at birth is 83 years, and persons aged 65 years or over make up to 20% of the population. So, Chair, then you can see why this was was the province that was identified for us as a case study. It has quite a high number of population that is aging. So it has programs that we put in place to address that. And by comparison, I looked at Stats SA results, statistics for last year, where we, as a country, we have 60 million people, and we have about 9.2 or 5.59 million citizens who are 60 years or older. And the reports also stated that since 2020, between 2019 and 2020, the population of older persons was increasing by 2.88%. It declined, however, due to COVID to 1.47%. but it is now increasing again. Between 2021 and 2022, the increase was sitting at 2.11%. So the statistics actually, SA was recommending that the country needs to start planning and introducing policies that will address ageism. So we also, as a country, need to think seriously in terms of budgeting and developing policies that will advance the interests of older persons and the protection of their rights. Then we got a presentation, it's called MADA Support Program. And just to say, Chair, this, like I said, is a French-speaking province. So the presentations were translated from French to English. So some of the abbreviations, I don't have the full name of the programs, because probably they were in French, but they just gave us this MADA. So I'm not sure what it stands for, Chairperson. So this program, but I think what's important is for us to learn what this program is about. It aims to adapt policies, services, and structures affecting the built and social environment to create conditions that optimize opportunities for active aging. It provides financial assistance to municipalities to plan and implement actions to meet the needs of seniors. I think that is a very important lesson for us in South Africa, because municipalities play a big role in terms of meeting or implementing services for older persons.
Aibo Lindy, please assist us.
It's again. Mute everyone. Mute all.
Yeah, maybe we can just call her on the side.
Please
I'm
call.
I'm gonna call her. Okay. Thanks.
Thanks.
Unmute yourself now.
Yeah, there I was talking. Okay, thanks. Okay, this program is supported by Quebec government and the NGOs that provide technical support to municipalities, research centers on aging, and conference of regional consultation tables for seniors. So it is on the advisory and technical level. This program is supported in terms of research, in terms of the conferences and the government of Quebec. Not moving now. Okay. Okay, the implementation of this program has had the following positive effects. There's been an increase in local investment in seniors. There's been the development of thinking and acting seniors in municipalities, basically meaning involved seniors in decision-making and policy formulation in municipalities. Direct involvement of seniors in the implementation of actions in their favor. Intensify networking and collaboration between local partners, adapting the living environment to seniors' realities through the implementation of concrete measures. Measures are developed by and for seniors. Okay. We also had a presentation on the anti-mistreatment plan for older persons in Quebec. And just to mention here, we had a discussion here because they don't refer, another issue of terminology. They were referring to anti-mistreatment, not abuse. And we tried to understand why is that, but I think the barrier in terms of language was almost a challenge for us. I was quite interested to find out why they refer to abuse as we do as mistreatment. Yes, but that's just a side comment, and also explain why we have anti-mistreatment here. This plan identifies 7 types of mistreatments. The psychological mistreatment, physical mistreatment, sexual mistreatment, material and financial mistreatment, organizational mistreatment, ageism, and violation of rights. So ageism was identified as a form of that type of mistreatment. And it conducted a survey on Mistreatment of Older Persons, that is now the department, in Quebec, commissioned by Statistical Institute of Quebec, and showed that the prevalence of elder abuse among people aged 65 and over during 2019 was 5.9%. For the last month preceding the survey, which corresponded to around 78,900 seniors. I just made a comment here, Chair, that says there is no official statistics, no national or provincial surveys conducted in South Africa. I thought I should raise this, Chair, because when we were I was developing the supporting documents for the study tour, as well as for the provincial hearings. I was requested to come up with any statistics in terms of abuse of older persons in the country. And my finding were that there is no official statistics, in the country. I contacted the department, they didn't have. I contacted the organizations like the Older Persons Forums and various forums. They're always saying that is what is lacking in South Africa. Despite this high prevalence of abuse of older persons in South Africa, there are no any national surveys or statistics to determine, the prevalence of this abuse of older persons in South Africa. So I'm just highlighting here that if you have noticed in this presentation, they're very good in terms of conducting, or say surveys that will inform their policies in terms of what we refer to evidence-based policies. So that's something that I will recommend later, is something to learn from Canada. And then the anti-mistreat plan for older persons is implemented through 5 orientations to prevent abuse by raising awareness, to develop, promote, and implement practices that foster good elder care, raise awareness and provide training on maltreatment to a variety of stakeholders and communities, improve management of abusive situations, and develop and disseminate knowledge about maltreatment. Then the committee, we had a meeting with Revenue Quebec, which serves in our country, and the Quebec, it has a budget allocated that was to invest for home support services for older persons. This investment was based on the provincial survey in which seniors expressed the need to remain in their homes near the natural support network of friends and families. The budget also allows for investment to have housing adapted to the needs of seniors for a high quality living environment. It also allows for additional government initiatives such as active aging, fight against elder abuse, and free vaccination against shingles. Then the presentation also reported on various tax credits categories that for seniors, in terms of the non-refundable tax credit paid to persons living alone, disability, medical expenses, refundable tax credit for home support services, caregivers, independent living, grants to offset municipal tax increases. This is more, Chair, if I can say, in the domain of how SARS operate, which I don't want to really go into details because that's not an area that I'm very familiar with. But safe to say that this is how we are also taxed in terms of our tax returns, and how as South African we also get tax credits, whether you are a person living with disability, in terms of our medical aid contributions and all that goes into the tax system, Chairperson, in the country. This was an equivalent presentation to that. Towards the end, Chair, I then come to the lessons learned. And just to say, South Africa, similarly to Canada, is facing an increase in aging population. And I just reported on the stats earlier, Chair. And despite this increase, South Africa lacks comprehensive protections of older persons, despite the high prevalence of abuse, neglect, and violence against older persons. And as I just said earlier, that we don't have any statistics on violence against older persons or anything that has to do actually with older persons. And the existing Act, Older Persons Act, had gaps with which the Older Persons Amendment Bill before the committee seeks to address. I'm not going to go into details about that, Chair. And then in terms of what I've can say with the lessons learned, on the main that Canada has a dedicated ministry for older persons. This model would address the challenge if South Africa were to adopt this model. This model would address the challenge of lack of coordination and planning between departments. A dedicated ministry will also ensure that there are resources, like budget and human resource allocated for older persons through the budget vote that will be approved by Parliament. There will also be a dedicated committee of Parliament to conduct oversight over the department. South Africa already has a Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disability. And in the Office of the Presidency, there's also a dedicated office on the rights of children. So a similar governmental structure should be considered for older persons as they are the only vulnerable group that has been left behind. I think that was also raised by some participants in the public hearings where they called for a dedicated ministry or a representation in Parliament or in the presidency. So the older persons are also calling for a similar structure or arrangement for them. Okay, the Older Persons Amendment Bill seeks to address the lack of coordination between the various departments by introducing an interdepartmental structure at national and at offices of the Premier to integrate, coordinate, and monitor the effective implementation of the Act. However, a dedicated department will have more political authority and enjoy the same legal status as the Department of Women, Youth, and Persons with Disability, or the Office on the Rights of Children in the Presidency. It is just way to further substantiate the lessons or the recommendation that I've come up with, that even though the bill proposes this kind of a structure, but if it is a ministry on its own, then there are added powers that the ministry will have over and above just a structure within the Department of Social Development. Then we also have the forums that I presented on, Chairperson, and this also can be a good lesson for South Africa because it is a forum made of different ministers and also addresses this lack of coordination. Then we have these ministers who are in these forums that they get the advice in terms of issues that can be addressed for older persons. I'm just summarizing, Chairperson, what I've written here. And the fact that they are co-chaired by political heads. So that gives it a bit more power or more authority, in terms of advancing the needs and protection of older persons. Similarly, Chairperson, we learned about the council that Canada has, and South Africa could also learn from that and advise and have an advisory body that will advise then the minister responsible for seniors. So there's such a ministry that is added that can then advance the protection of older persons. But also then critical, like I've been saying, Chairperson, we learned of the statistics that play a crucial role in terms of policy development and legislation, and also making sure that the legislative framework responds to the needs of the older persons. So South Africa should then consider having similar surveys that will assist in terms of having evidence-based policy in terms of the protection of older persons. The same as the two programs that I spoken to, Chair. One of the challenges faced by older persons, as I said, in South Africa and I think across the world, is that of social exclusion, which they make them more vulnerable to various social ills. So establishing a similar program in South Africa that will be funded by government to fund organizations and institutions that run community and wider projects that address challenges faced by older persons in rural, peri-urban, and in urban areas, then will go a long way in addressing the challenge of isolation and exclusion of older persons. Similarly, the Aging at Well initiative, where it organizes people to provide housekeeping and self-care to older persons and delivery of medication and just to meet their daily needs, is also a program that South Africa can learn from it and maybe also consider implementing such a program. The same goes with the one that supports municipalities to adapt to the living environment of other persons in their homes, in terms of transport, in terms of accommodation where they live. That's also something that South Africa can learn. Chairperson, that's the end of the presentation and the key issues that I managed to extract from the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yoliswa, for the presentation on the study tour report to Canada. It's quite appreciated, and I must say that it's quite comprehensive. I mean, you have tried to summarize, but for me, it looks like you have not actually compromised some of the key activities that we have undertaken when we went to Canada. Thank you very much. Honorable members, that's the report. It's tabled before the portfolio committee. Can we get a mover and seconder to the report? Honorable Masango, over to you.
Thank you, Acting Chair, and thank you so much to Yoli for the report. And I want to agree very strongly with the Acting Chair that the report captures so well the meetings that we had and the content of those meetings. And also to say that in just my assessment of the information that we got from Canada is that South Africa has in the existing legislation and in part the current bill that we've just finished the public hearings on, we do have what Canada is doing. I by that I mean, Acting Chair, that all we need to do, with of course augmenting with the information, the valuable information that we received from Canada, we just need to get to a point where we implement everything that we have in our legislation and in our policies and every other document that emanates from that, because we have that. Just the recent public hearings showed that there is an effort that is being made in ensuring that the older persons are looked after in South Africa. So, but when you just have to have been part of the hearings to know that that effort is compromised by the lack of resources. It is compromised manner in which the stakeholders that need to take part in the protection of the older persons are working, in that we were even scolded by older persons to say, where is the Department of Health? Where is the Department of this? But that not being there was not just the physical presence that was needed. They were actually saying, where are the services coming out of these departments? So I believe with this bill coming on board and the existing legislation and the implementation thereof, we will make strides in matching in obviously a lesser part to what Canada is doing, because we can't compare ourselves to Canada. They've been at this for a long time, and South Africa only started to do things in 1994 for older persons, or of all older persons, as it were. So I'm really highly appreciate the report and saying that just my take home from the experiences that we had and the meetings that we had, when I was asking about the ICT, how they even called it gold, because they said in our data and our ICT, that's where we have each and every older persons that we have in Canada. We know their movements, we track movement. Monitoring and evaluation is very, very key in how they have kept and protected their data. They're saying that they follow their older persons even in other countries. They have partnerships with other countries or whatever agreements with other countries where they pay their people in those countries the grant, the equivalent of what we are calling a grant here. So the older persons in South Africa, I believe very strongly, unless there is any opposing view to this, we do have in the existing legislation and the older person amendment bill that we are working on, we have enough to just implement. My word would be, let's just implement, and we will do justice to our older persons, and we will be able to compete, albeit in a sort of lesser way with the likes of Canada. So thank you so much to the content advisor. I was looking forward to this report, and I have not been disappointed. Thank you so much, Acting Chair and colleagues.
Thank you very much, Honorable Masango, for your comment, input. I think it's also quite appreciated. Thank you so much. Can we now hand over to Honorable Paulnita Marais? Over to you, Honorable Member. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. Chairperson, I also would like to say thank you for the report. It basically addressed everything that we went through in Canada, and I had the privilege of going there to Canada. And I also would want to also introduce this one that we have learned so much in Canada. Even the thing that I think we missed out is that even if the person is retired and he moved to another country, that person is still getting his pension. And that is also very unique, because when you leave your country to go and stay in another country, then automatically you don't get the perks of the country. But in Canada, even if you move out after being retired, you still get your money. And you know what is so amazing is that people that is even unemployed are filling in the taxes. I don't know why they call it that side, but for us it's SARS. We know it's SARS. That is why they know how many unemployed people they have. And even the unemployed people are getting a stipend, like the children that was in the report, the children that is going to school. The government assists parents to look after the children by paying school fees and whatever they are doing. But the best part is that home-based care, where families are looking after the older persons, they are being assisted by government. Like Bridget was saying earlier on, is that during the COVID, it made them aware of people staying alone. So they even have a person that is going to buy your groceries, checking up on you, seeing if you're fine, getting your medication and stuff like that. So that is very unique for me. And even the way they are treating the old people was very, very good. They have this ministry for older persons. But I think that what Bridget was saying about the Department of Health and even housing, because this is where local government is coming in. Like we have heard on the public hearings, people are saying the water is too expensive, electricity is expensive, they are still paying the rates and taxes, where this was supposed to be automatically, when you are a senior citizen, automatically these things are being taken care of. And then also what is unique in Canada is that when you retire at 65, you can still work till you are 85 years old. They actually encourage older persons to go back because they need the knowledge of the older persons in that country. And that is that's very good, basically, because like we are saying in our Children's Amendment Act, that the older persons must impart their knowledge to the younger generation, so that the history and the lineage of families continue, you know, like people know where they're coming from. So that's what they are also doing in Canada. They allow older persons to go back to work because they have a problem in Canada. Populations did not grow. That's why you get a lot of people from other countries living there. And the most unique thing that was what they did very uh, good to see is that when you go to malls in South Africa, you will see children running around the mall, youth. But in Canada, it was old people walking in the mall, you know, going shopping, old people everywhere you go. It was just old people because they have these facilities where they cater for these old people, you know. So if South Africa can introduce something like, I know we are hundreds of years away for this thing, but I think it is very important the way they are treating the old people compared to what our old people are struggling by being abused from the children, taking the pension money and all those things. If we can just get something from there, I will be actually very happy. But for the older persons bills, I feel that all the departments must come to the party because this is the most important bill that we are busy with. None of the other bills are not important, but I feel that old people, when they get old, they feel like they can still play a part. They can still be constructive in certain areas. And also, as we see, we are also moving to the SASA line now. We are almost there. So I think if we can get a bill that is really looking after old people, that people don't stress about where they're going to get money to buy food and all these things. But I must say the report basically has covered everything. It was a very good report. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Paul Nita-Maree, for your input and your comment as well. It's appreciated. Thank you very much, honorable members. Those were the only two members that wanted to comment or also make a contribution as well into the report. I note the hand of, as the last hand of Honorable Jane Manganye. Over to you, Jane.
Thank you very much. I think honorable members have covered me also the report that Yoli made. I just want to add on this one that we as South African government or country, we are still lacking on that one of making awareness to the older people that is in the country, of telling them about the diseases, communicable diseases and so forth. With that one, we are lacking. If there is just sometimes when we celebrating and then we feature just, but if we can do that, I think Yoli have put it on her report that even old elder person where we were going through the country, they said that one we are lacking. So I agree with the report also, honorable members, what they have said. And the last speaker to say, if we can do that, we will enrich our bill that we are still dealing with it for elderly people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jane. Your input or your comment is also noted and appreciated. Thank you very much, honorable members. That was the last honorable member who wanted to comment on the report and also appreciate it. Thank you very much. The report is tabled, honorable members. Can we get the mover for the adoption of the report as a true reflection of the study tour to Canada? I will note the hands, honorable members. I note the hand of Honorable Paul Nita-Maree, followed by Honorable Masango. In that order, honorable members.
Chair, I will move for the adoption, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Member Reyes, move for the adoption of the report. Can we get a seconder for the adoption or for the secondment of the proposal to adopt the report? Over to you, Member Sango.
Thank you, Acting Chair. And I would like to second the moving by Dr. Murray, Honorable Murray, for the adoption of the report as a true reflection of the tour and the learnings from it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Member Sango. The report has been duly adopted, honorable members of the study tour to Canada. Thank you so much for that. Honorable members, we now move to the next item on the agenda. Can I hand over to Lindiwe, the committee secretary, just to indicate what is the next item on the agenda, and then we proceed in that order. Over to you, Lindiwe. I believe it's the 2 sets of minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Over to you.
Chair. Yes, Chair, I have 2 sets of minutes for the 25th of October, and the last set is on the 1st of November. Can I flight this, the first set, Chair?
Yes, proceed. All right, thanks.
Thank you very much, Chair. This is the first set of minutes where the committee received a briefing from the Department of Police, SAPS in particular, on violence and murder of children, mandates, programs and intervention, the stats and impact of intervention and programs. Also, Chair, another agenda item was the adoption of minutes. Members that were present, we have Member Mvana, Member Stock, Member Peterson, Member Hlongo, Member Manganye, Member Pilankulu, Member Masango, Member Abrahams, Member Eris, Member Mare, Member Fana Merve, and we received an apology from Member Sukars. Chair, we had departmental officials led by Lieutenant General Sibia, who is the Deputy National Commissioner. The Minister and Deputy Minister couldn't attend due to prior commitments, Chair. You had the full delegation from SAPS. Chair, also your support team consists of 5 officials, Chair. And then Member Vanna welcomed all present in the meeting, Chair. And on that day, I was writing exams. My apology is also recorded, Chair. And Member Sukers one, and the Minister and Deputy Minister, Chair. And then the Commissioner had prior urgent commitments. Chair, also Minister joined the meeting, Minister Zulu. Chair, I was just there for a few minutes just to ensure that the meeting ran smoothly, recording the attendance and apologies. Thereafter, I left the meeting because I was writing around 11 o'clock. And then I was, we had Miss Amadubela, who was acting on my behalf, Chair. And then the agenda was adopted by Fanda Merva, seconded by Member Pilankulu, and then we adopted the set of minutes for the 11th of October, Chair. The 13th of October and the 18th of October were adopted on that day. And then we received a briefing from SAPS, Chair, which also indicated the violence of children and women is a priority area for SAPS. And then after Lieutenant General Sibia, he handed over to General Pinar to make the full presentation to the committee, and then Brigadier Pudumo presented the investigation and convictions. Chair, we had deliberations, the deliberations, where members noted that most of children murdered were from the Western Cape. Also wanted to know where whether these killings were gangster related, and SAPS has an anti-gangsterism strategy in place. And then SAPS responded that the most children who were killed in the Western Cape is a mere statistic for general population. And then the last visit to the province, the minister found that children were not attending schools because of gang-related school shootouts. He then instructed that a mobile police station be set up in the high-risk area, Chair. There was an in-depth engagement with the SAPS. Also, amongst others, I don't think I'm going to read the whole minutes. Amongst others, the committee wanted to know the reasons for child murderers in the province where they had increased, Chair. And also SAPS responded to that. And also the committee highlighted that whether was the biggest crime for the life conviction, and then SAPS responded that crimes are mainly sexual offenses, murder, and child pornography. Chair, also the committee noted that police are most visible during Child Protection Week, and then the Child Protection Week should be done more regularly. And it also wanted to know what happened to the Adopt a Cop school program, and then SAPS responded that they conduct awareness campaign on monthly basis, and then the safety school program is replaced by Adopt a Cop program. It is an implementation of 200 schools that we identify as high-risk schools. At local level, every month, police stations are required to conduct engagement with community police forums. Chair, I will just move. Also, the committee also wants to know whether does SAPS have a specific plan to combat child trafficking, especially during festive season? And SAPS responded that the presentation did not focus on this, but the information can be made available to the committee. An issue of the syndicates, whether the police target syndicates who, and also South Africa needs to seriously investigate the concept of baby savers. And it welcomed the reduction of almost 20% of children that were murdered, but concerned on the persistent child-targeted violence. And the committee also welcomed the increase in convictions. The committee also noted that with concern family killings that are perpetrated by police officers, and wanted to know what support is given to the police officers. Chair, just to read randomly, the committee asked what were the reasons behind the decline in child murders in KZN and Limpopo province, and then what is the budget allocated for the Free State for the FCS in provinces. Chair, the SAPS responded that it has a program that conducts analysis on the cases reported, and it can monitor and intervene. It also working with Interpol for cases that involve foreign nationals. And they also wanted to know whether the stats on child murderers in the Eastern Cape includes the Enyobeni Tavern victims. SAPS explained that it depends how this crime was reported. If it was reported as an inquest, it would be included if they reported in the reported stats. If it was reported as, then it would be included. Thanks very much, Chair. And then there was only one resolution that SAPS must forward a list of victim support offices in all provinces to the committee. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Lindy, for the presentation on this set of minutes. Honorable members, those are the minutes. Can we get the mover for the adoption of the minutes as a true reflection of that meeting? Can we note the hands, honorable members? I note the hand of Honorable Masango. Over to you, Honorable Masango.
Acting Chair, I would like to propose the adoption of the minutes as a true reflection of the meeting. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Member Sango moves for the adoption of the minutes. Can we get a seconder for the adoption of the minutes? Honorable members, can we get a seconder for the adoption of the minutes?
Yes, Chair. I'm seconding Honorable Masango.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Manganye seconds the adoption of the minutes. Thank you very much. The minutes are duly adopted as a thorough reflection of that meeting. Can we move Lindy way to the next set of minutes? Over to you. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Acting Chair. The next set of minutes is for the 1st of November, 2023. I'm just trying to move up. Okay. The agenda for this meeting was a briefing by the unemployed social workers, a petition calling on National Assembly to investigate the inability of the government to create permanent employment for unemployed social workers in South Africa. And also, Chair, we've received the briefing by the Department of Social Development in response to a petition received by the unemployed social worker in South Africa. Chair, this is a petition by member Masango. Members that were present in that meeting, we have member Mvana, member Stock, member Peterson, member Mhlongo, member Manganye, member Pelankulu, We had member Masango, we have member Aris, we have member Mare, we have member Priet. Apologies, we have member Abraham, Sukers, and Van der Merwe. And then we had departmental officials led by the Deputy Minister, Minister Bukopane, and then the ADG as well was present. And then we also had the petitioner, Ms. Kekane and Ms. Teledi, who were also part of the meeting and presented their petition. We also have the normal support staff from for the committee. We had Member Mvana welcomed to the meeting all members of the committee, department officials, permanent officials, and then she handed over to Member Masango to introduce the petition. Member Seekers, in terms of the apologies, Member Sukers was unable to attend due to prior commitments, and we had our standing apology from Member Abrams, who was on maternity leave, and Van der Merwe had prior commitments. And then the agenda was, the mover of the agenda was Member Manganye, and then seconded by Member Mhlongo, and the agenda was adopted without amendments. There were no meeting minutes scheduled for interview or for adoption. Deputy Minister gave an overview and then expressed appreciation on the issues raised by the petitioner and acknowledgement of the department's efforts to address the shortage of social workers. And she also noted the challenges to the report to the committee that the department has engaged the cabinet about the shortage of social workers, and it has tried by implementing social work bursary scheme. And also the department experienced a challenge amongst the social workers. The country has the complete records of social workers graduates. There was a gap of social workers who have been unemployed for long, and the newly graduated ones. The department placed the social workers with provincial departments and DSD funded NPOs, but there is a salary gap between those employed by NPOs and the government. There was about 7 critical points that the Deputy Minister presented to the committee. And the last one is that the Department of Correctional Services and Justice has increased the number of probation, its Justice and Correctional Services have increased the number of probation officers. Chair, the member, Ms. Kitiboni Kekane, which is a social work in practice, took the committee through the petition by the unemployed social workers. And she mentioned that in the field of social worker, individuals are dedicated to helping those facing social challenges, which has a profound impact. And also mentioned that the profession brings hope to the most vulnerable citizens and instrumental in transforming lives, healing communities, and fostering a more just and compassionate society. And the last bullet, the unemployed social work movement in South Africa gained momentum due to a significant shortage of skilled social workers officially recognized as a scarce skill. Details of the presentation can be obtained from me. Also, Chair, there was a response by the department because we want to hear from them. Mr. Mkunu, which is the Acting Director General, took the committee through the presentation. He reported that about 76,000 registered unemployed social worker graduates. The department has been engaging provincial departments to employ social workers within their baselines, but unfortunately, this has not been an option due to budget cuts. Provinces have already reached about $1 billion in their wage bill. Engagement with National Treasury have also not yielded any results due to fiscal challenges. And then the Treasury also instructed departments to keep their employment numbers down. Chair, there are deliberations that ensued. The committee said for 2024-25, how much has been budgeted for employment of social workers? How will the department budget for the employment of social workers if its budget is cut? That was one of the comment made by the committee. Also, the committee raised a concern with the recently passed Children's Amendment Bill, which exacerbates the shortage of social workers, as it will require a lot of social workers to implement it, as it deals with foster care related services. And then the department presentation indicates that the NTP target that was made in 2012 to employ 55,000 social workers, SSPs, by 2030 could not be a realistic to date because of the natural disasters, including COVID-19 pandemic and increase in social ills that the country has experienced. The department has a bigger load to carry to ensure that the SSPs are employed to implement various social welfare services that aim to address the effects of the natural disasters and social ills. The department was cautioned to consider that the fact that the target could have shifted since it was made in 2012. Chair, also the committee acknowledged the efforts made by the department to address the unemployed of social workers. It was, however, concerned about the comment made by Deputy Minister on the gap in the database in tracking the employment of newly graduated social work graduates and those who graduated many years ago. This raises the question of how big the challenge is. And the committee also further noted that the recruitment of social workers needs collaborative efforts from various stakeholders. It was thus concerned that some departments had appointed fewer social workers compared to others. This is unfortunate as the country's experienced increasing levels of social ills such as substance abuse, teenage pregnancy, and gender-based violence. Chair, also the following are the questions that the committee raised. Chair, how is the department ensuring that vulnerable groups continue to receive services in the light of social workers? And how has technology advancement been used to maximize the employment of social workers? There are responses, Chair, that were given to the committee. I won't read all of them. And then there's child support group top-up grant of $750 was introduced to assist orphans by diverting away from the foster care program, which requires social workers to conduct comprehensive administrative processes. Also, the department agreed with the proposal that the committee needs to organize a joint briefing with other sector departments. It also agreed with the committee concern of moving target since it was taken in 2012. The department uses the 2019 resolution to remind the minister and the DGs of other departments of their commitments. Let me check if there is anything. The resolution that was taken, Chair, was that the committee to engage with other sector departments on their strategies to employ social work professions as per their commitments made in 2019 resolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lindy, for the presentation on this set of minutes. Thank you very much. The presentation is noted and appreciated. Honorable members, can we get a mover for the adoption of the minutes as a true reflection of the meeting? The floor is all yours, honorable members. I note the hand of Honorable Masango. Over to you, Ms. Masango.
Thank you, Acting Chair, and thank you, Lindy, for the minutes. I want to move for the adoption of the minutes, but I would like to ask Lindy, like offline, to try and establish, for purposes of accuracy, that 76,000 registered and unemployed social workers doesn't seem right to me, but let's do that offline. But I totally agree with the minutes as a reflection of the meeting. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mema Sango. I know the hand of Honorable Memanganye. Honorable Memanganye, over to you.
Oscar Sokola, Chair, Bize Memanganye. I do support.
Okay. Honorable, minutes are duly adopted with that slight correction that will be effected out of the meeting between Honorable Masango, the amount I think of 76 or 78,000, but it will be corrected outside the meeting between Honorable Masango and then Portfolio Committee Secretary Lindiwe Ntsabo as to what is the correct figure. Those are the only thing, but the minutes are duly adopted and accepted. Thank you very much, honorable members. We have only one last item, which is the most popular item, which is closure in our agenda. I think the agenda is now, all the items have been exhausted. I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the Portfolio Committee to appreciate all your comments, all your inputs that you have raised in the meeting. And then most importantly, I would also like to appreciate the collegiality between us as members of the portfolio committee, how we relate to each other. And then most of the time we're differing, we've got different views, but that's normal. So the most important thing that I would like to appreciate is the manner in which we differ when there are differences. I think for me, that's quite substantial. And I would like to appreciate that. Thank you very much, honorable members. I think let me take the opportunity to wish you a very good day today. I know it's the 16 days of activism. We might be having a number of programs in our different constituencies or in the provinces where we come from. So we are going to have a very hectic festive season with all those programs unfolding and so forth. So I would like to wish you well as you embark on those programs. And then let's keep the flag of South Africa flying very high. And then also ensuring that we support and we protect the rights of our children, the rights of our ordinary and our vulnerable people throughout the different constituencies where we are. Thank you very much, honorable members. Our meeting stands adjourned. Have a nice day. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you,
You
Acting
too.
Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Can I end the meeting for everyone? Thank you very much.